What's good, everybody? Today we're going to be recapping UFC Fight Night Strickland versus Hernandez. Great night of fights, all things considered, and some major implications for the middleweight division. If you follow my picks, we went 4-3 on the night. Could have been better. Could have been worse, better than 50%, baby. Let's just get it started talking about this banger main event. Strickland versus Hernandez, man. So my idea of this fight was Strickland's competition versus Hernandez's competition. It's just they're on completely different levels. If you saw the video talking about the breakdown of this fight and the prediction, my idea, I'm thinking, guys, this might be the easiest underdog pick that I can remember. Strickland going into the Izzy fight was like an 800 underdog, but I didn't pick Strickland to win that fight. I just didn't like Izzy. But in this fight, plus 200 something underdog, I'm thinking he's better on the feet. I've never seen Sean Strickland really get taken down and get held down, which is important because he gets taken out by DDP, but DDP can't hold him there. He gets up. So those takedowns, they don't really add the value that a typical Anthony Hernandez takedown would add. But in this case, I was thinking what's going to happen? How can Anthony Hernandez get going this fight? And it was just a big overhand. Somehow rocking Sean Strickland, hurting him, causing some sort of injury, maybe like a cheeky eye poke, and then getting in on the legs and actually getting his work done down there. But man, this fight, even though it ended up by KO TKO, it was a nasty TKO after Sean rocked Anthony Hernandez to the body, and then just followed up and just opened up and emptied out all the gas tank on Hernandez. It was a nice finish. You can tell Sean Strickland really knows how to finish people. But before that, it was just looking like my decision pick was going to be straight on, man. Round one, Sean backing up. He fights really well backing up. He fights really well going forward. He was going forward in the Izzy fight, fought well. Going forward in the Para fight, got knocked out. Happens. Here, he was fighting on the back foot. He was doing well. He usually fights on the back foot for the Drickus fights, I believe. Those two fights, he spent a lot of time on the back foot, and he was doing really well. He was using his 1 inch and 1 inch reach and 1 inch height advantage really well as well. Since he stands up so tall and has a Philly shell style and his legs so close together, he checks kicks really well, but also his posture being so upright causes him to exaggerate whatever height advantage he has. So that probably felt like a 2 inch, 3 inch reach advantage maybe for Anthony Hernandez, who has bent knees, a more typical boxer, MMA fighter, wrestler style, Round one, Sean lands a hard right on the temple of Hernandez, and it obviously has a visible rock on him. Hernandez, of course, smiling and everything. He always does this shit in his fights, but you can tell that Strickland had given him respect. Anthony Hernandez had earned Strickland's respect, and vice versa, especially with that right hand. Hernandez hits a right hand, goes a couple looping punches, follows up, pushes Sean against the cage, grabs a body lock. And Hernandez just gets his hand inside, grabs a whizzer, grabs his own underhook. He does really well to defend those fights. At one point in the second round, he reversed a body lock, which was crazy as well. And yeah, man, at the end of round one, Sean already doubled Fluffy in strikes. It was 76 to 30 something. And Anthony Hernandez is supposed to be the cardio machine, right? I know he's more of a wrestling guy, but still getting doubled up on strikes, even if they're just pitter patter, jab, 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 jab. Those strikes, they win you the fight, honestly. Round two, Sean opens up saying he likes Fluffy even if he's a Mexican, which is very interesting. Fluffy smiles, takes the joke well. I hope it's a joke, Sean stuffs a couple takedowns, stuffs a trip, just keeps showing some more of that crazy takedown defense. And then the more Fluffy shoots, the less committed he seems to each one. It was just every shot, it felt like Fluffy was getting discouraged. He was shooting at the beginning full force, he was grabbing the body lock, whatever, moving him around. Afterward, the shots, he wasn't even putting a knee to the ground. He was kind of just running them, the double leg, kind of lazily. It just seemed like he was getting discouraged. And then round three, Strickland the whole fight was doing super well of either staying out of range of Hernandez or just crashing in. Because if you stay in that middle range, that's where you can get shot in. But if you crash in, and at the moment where you guys come together, you collide, you're chest to chest, there's no dropping for a double leg because someone already has some sort of connection. Someone already has an underhook. There's no double leg there. So Sean just shows that crazy takedown defense, shows that good spacing that he has from doing so much sparring. And yeah, man, the more takedowns Fluffy shot, the worse it got for him. Third round, hits a crazy knee against the Like, he pushes up Anthony Hernandez. They reset middle of the octagon. I don't know what Anthony Hernandez is doing with his hands. He's like kind of hand fighting a little bit. Sean just like steps back with the right foot, I believe, right leg, just boom, fires up a rear knee. I think it was like straight solar plexus. We've seen Anthony Hernandez get finished before. I believe it was by Kevin Holland, by the same like body shot TKO finish. And man, he just opens up, insane finish, just starts wilding on him, and yeah, goes crazy. They give him the mic afterward. He was actually able to speak. We weren't sure if Paramount was gonna let him speak on the mic too long, and then they cut his shit at the post fight. You know, we can't have everything. We can't have a post fight, like an in fight interview and a post fight interview. We gotta choose one or the other with Sean Strickland, right? That's just what it is. I mean, a crazy fight. We're gonna talk about Sean Strickland, what's next for him, in 1 second after we go over the rest of my picks. Next, Jeff Neal versus Uros Medic. Man, this shit was tragic, you know. I kind of picked Jeff Neal with my heart. I kind of always do. I love Jeff Neal. I love his style. You guys know, like, this guy is just such a pretty fighter to watch. Like, well, pause. Like, he just has a really good fight style. I like watching him fight. I thought he was going to box up Uros Medic. Turns out he got KO TKO'd, man. Fucking hell. Co-main event pick was wrong. My featured fight was correct. I picked Costa by decision, but ended up getting the KO TKO. I don't believe Dan Ige tends to get KO'd too often. Let me know if I'm wrong. Decision. No, decision. If he loses, it's by decision. Was this the first fight that is this the first time he's gotten KO'd in the UFC? Could it be? 2024. Yeah, man. Yeah, this is the first time Dan Ige has gotten knocked out in the UFC, which is crazy. You know, you can't blame me for not predicting that. Of course, like, I'm not gonna predict the guy who's never gotten knocked out to get knocked out. But Mazakel Costa, he gets it done, beautiful fashion, very well performed. This fucking guy, Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija, bro. Ante Delija, I let it slide because he was beating Waldo Cortez Acosta. Like, I was happy, you know. I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna, you know, fulfill my pick. And then he gets fucking knocked out, eye poked. This fucking guy, how do you get outstriked by 40 strikes against Sergey Spivak? He stuffed 3 takedowns, but that's the only thing he did well. He got fucking crazy outstriked, won a decision. Some people in the legal stream chat were talking about it was a robbery, but you know, I don't really see it as a robbery. If the guy is landing 100 strikes to your 61, even if your 61 were all significant, yeah, I'm not taking that, right? Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. Jacoby Smith gets it done. I didn't have a prediction for this fight, but this fucking guy, Michel Pereira, winning by decision, bro. Dead ass. Guys, if you've ever wanted to buy a lottery ticket and you picked Michel Pereira to win by decision, go buy that lottery ticket, alright? Just do it at this point. Because what the fuck are we talking about? How the fuck did Michel Pereira with his shit ass cardio win a decision? I don't know. I have to watch this fight back, because I don't even know if the judges scored it correctly. But Zachary Reese, brother, you now have a loss to Michel Pereira, who's 32-14. 2-0 contest, alright? Just let that sink in, man. In the prelims, who did I have picked? I had 2 fights in the prelims picked. The first one, Alden Correa winning by decision, exactly as I predicted. It's just one of those things where I picked against Luis Gurul. You know, it was a closer fight than expected, but still, like, I just picked against Luis Gurul, got it right. It is what it is. And Alibi Idris, my Kazakhstan GOAT, gets it done against Audrey Osborne. Has a couple scary moments, but controls the fight. Shoots 15 takedowns. Crazy motherfucker. Lands 5 of them. Outstrikes Audrey Osborne, not by too much, but you know, the takedowns landed. Obviously, it's enough to get the nod in the decision. So that was that fight night, Strickland versus Hernandez. It was a good night of fights, especially the main event. Definitely delivered. I mean, I was not expecting a finish. I'm not sure if anyone was expecting a finish from Strickland specifically. But yeah, what's next for Sean Strickland? And how does he fare against Khamzat Chimaev is the question. Because is he going to jump is he gonna jump Nasruddin Imavov in the middleweight rankings? Like, what do you guys think? He's gonna fight. He's fought Israel Adesanya for the title. He won. He fought Dricus du Plessis in the first title defense. He lost. He fought Paulo Costa, won by split decision. Fought Dricus again, kind of undeserved, but fought Dricus again. Lost more convincing fashion. And now fighting Anthony Hernandez. Did he have a fight after the Dricus one? I don't believe so. No. Dricus last year, and then around the same time last year. And now Anthony Hernandez, right? They have beef. Khamzat and Sean Strickland, they've gone back and forth. They used to train together. They used to have they were buddies and everything, but at this point they really don't like each other. Khamzat's always been talking about, moving up to 205 and doing this and doing that. Talking about he's too big for the middleweight division when he used to be a welterweight somehow. But I think this has a real chance of materializing. And I believe that Sean Strickland has a better chance than a lot of people give him credit for. Mainly because he's actually fought Khamzat in the gym. Like, the thing with Khamzat is that it's kind of like a similar situation to Islam or Khabib or those guys, where since you're a fighter and since you're delusional, it's just part of the fight game, you have this idea that you can out-wrestle anyone, even if that's their whole game. Like, you have an idea that, yeah, Khabib is really good at wrestling, but I can out-wrestle him. I train hard. If I have a really good fight camp, I can out-wrestle Khabib, or I can defend the takedowns, I can do this. It's not until you get in the cage, and all the fighters talk about this, where you think, wow, his strength was really different. Like, this guy really had a different level of strength. And that's what happens with Khamzat. That's what happens with Islam. I'm sure that Dricus had all the confidence in the world going into the Khamzat fight. I'm sure he believed he trained very hard. But he got in there, and Khamzat was just able to do the thing that they had prepared for, Like, how demoralizing is it to prepare for someone to do something for a whole training camp just for them to go out and actually do that, and just do that and beat your ass, right? That's what happened with Khamzat and Dricus. And I think that's the advantage that Sean Strickland has that Dricus or any of Khamzat's past victims haven't had, is that Sean has felt Khamzat. I'm sure he's felt him at his best, maybe when he was sicker, maybe when he was at a camp where he's heavier and he's stronger, when he's weaker entering training camp. Like, he's felt all these versions of Khamzat, and vice versa. Khamzat has felt Sean Strickland. But Sean Strickland, like, all he has to do is, like, there's nothing on the line for him, really. He gets a belt, like, he's already gotten the belt. He doesn't really, he said he didn't need to get the belt. He didn't have the urge to get the belt or anything like that. This is just going out and doing your best against someone who, if you beat, like, it's going to be insane. And if you lose, it's expected. Like, there's nothing on the line for Strickland in that way. Media-wise, not that he would care, but media-wise, legacy-wise, it's not really, it's not going to tank your legacy to lose to Khamzat Chimaev, right? So that's my thing. I believe Sean Strickland has a better chance against Khamzat than, I think, any of the middleweight contenders. And it has nothing really to do with his style as much as it has to do with his experience with Khamzat. He's felt the strength. He's felt the grappling. He's felt the techniques. He knows what Khamzat likes. He knows what Khamzat doesn't like. He's seen him spar other guys in the gym. This is, like, psychologically as well for Khamzat. Losing this fight would fucking destroy him. Not only because he's like the undefeated guy and whatever, but because against Sean Strickland, this motherfucker's gonna talk some crazy shit in the lead up, right? The fucking press conference is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be just like, this guy's gonna be saying whatever about his country, about how he's with that dictator, about how he beats up beginners in the gym, and Khamzat's gonna be like, brother, I don't give a fuck, brother. He's just gonna be in the press conference, sitting there taking it like a good boy, right? It's just gonna be a very interesting matchup. Me personally, I don't give a fuck about what's his name? I don't even remember his name. Like, that's how little I care about him. Nasruddin Imavov. I couldn't care less about Nasruddin Imavov and his matchup against Khamzat. Is he the rightful number one contender? I guess, he beat Kaio. He beat Israel. He's on a good win streak. But you know, he's lost to Sean Strickland. Like, we have that over him. We can say, you know, Sean Strickland beat this guy, so he should get the title fight. I don't know. We'll see. Whoever, like, whatever the UFC decides in Paramount, we'll really see. Like, it's gonna be a really big indicator of whether this is a sport or whether it's like entertainment, right? If they choose Strickland, it's for entertainment. Rightful number one contender, Imavov, right? Let's be honest. Even if we don't like it, it's Imavov. How does Imavov do against Khamzat? I think he loses a decision similar to DDP. Maybe even gets finished. You know, I could see Imavov like quitting a lot easier than, of course, Dricus would never quit. My goat. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this main event. What did you think of the fights? What do you think of the upcoming title fight with Khamzat? Who should he fight? Should he fight Imavov or should he fight Strickland? What did you think of Strickland? What's next for Anthony Hernandez? Like, you know, he's going to have to take up an up-and-comer. Should he go fight like a Kaio? Should he fight maybe MVP? Who should he fight? Let me know. Maybe an RDR. Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go brush my teeth. Ciao.